Hey everyone, this is Clint with Creative Retail Talks, and I am really excited today to be visiting with Jim Iyoob.
Hi, this is Clint O'Rear. Thanks for joining the Creative Retail Talks podcast today, where we will be discussing the latest in life, business, and retail.
So what I'm about to ask, you may not even have to do because of Melissa's role, but do you have direct reports that you kind of have a touch base rhythm with, that you're kind of coaching and feeding into from a professional standpoint?
Absolutely. I have a few direct reports, but one thing I believe in is I am a mentor for other people.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm very intentional of mentoring. So my Mondays from 6 a.m. in the morning until 4:30 in the afternoon, I'm having a 30-minute one-on-one session with anywhere from 10 to 15 people.
That's great.
Not just my direct reports. And Melissa's taught me this a long time ago. I've always liked to be mentor. We have a formal mentor program at Etech. So you have to apply to be a mentee. Mm-hmm. And then the mentee actually has to tell you 2 or 3 things that they want to learn. So it started with, 6 in the morning till 5 in the afternoon, and you have a bunch of people. And then all of a sudden they stop sending you what they want to talk about. So then a couple of them drop off because you want to be intentional, right? You want to be intentional about coaching and developing. You're not here to just talk to me. You're here to learn things. So I love mentoring not only people that are in my own organizations, but also my peers' organizations.
Yeah. And I'll tell you what, that takes us to another topic I want to kind of get your thoughts on. You're talking about mentoring, developing new leaders. You mentioned kind of the need for that next generation of leadership. And you're probably like 10 years younger than me, but I hit the 5-0 mark a year or so ago.
Yeah, I'm older than you, by the way, but go ahead.
Well, you look younger than me. So I started really thinking a lot about this next generation leadership, kind of next gen leadership. How would you say Etech is really kind of being intentional about that process of developing next gen leadership? It sounds like mentoring. It sounds like the things that Melissa's doing. Anything else you want to say on that topic in terms of developing next gen leaders?
Yeah. So I think if you think about Etech, right, first we base everything on a servant leadership is the core culture that we have, right? And you have those dedicated leadership teams like we talked about, Melissa's team. They're behind the scenes making sure we're doing it. But if you think about it, we don't play when it comes to being intentional about our next generation of leaders. And that's why I used the word intentional before. So the very topic is why we created this entire, and I didn't create, I don't take credit for this. I'm just part of the plan. They created this pillar of education around our future leadership.
Yeah.
Every quarter, we go to our company, the 3,500 employees out there, and we search for aspiring leaders in our frontline people. They apply for the program.
Yeah.
Right? There's a process. Then they're interviewed, and only the top applicants are selected to go into an aspiring leader. So this could be an agent who we believe has high potential. Yeah. And then we place them through this intense 6-week program where they learn the fundamentals of leadership and Etech's servant leadership culture. And then those people, obviously, once they pass and get certified, then they're on to newer things. To put it in perspective, rough estimate, last year we promoted about 300 people.
Wow.
Yeah, all internally, which is huge.
Phenomenal. Yeah. Yep. You're finding the next Jim Iyoob and the next Melissa Wood, right?
I don't think Melissa's replaceable though, but we want one like her.
I tell you what,
I'm easy to replace.
No, I don't believe that. But Jim, as you have shared this with me today, I'm seeing that really that Dean of Leadership role, that is like the foundation of so much of what you guys are doing in terms of teaching and training and leadership development. That's sounds like that's a real huge foundational piece with what she and her team are doing. That's so cool.
Absolutely. I mean, it's clear. Matt Rocco has set the vision, as we talked about. Yeah. And he wants it to be intentional. He even has Melissa's team not only checking all of our departments, but they're actually tied to formal succession planning.
Yeah.
I mean,
wow.
She's literally helping me plan, she said, to replace me.
Right.
I got to be careful. I mean, but she literally helps us plan globally across all 3 of our countries succession planning.
Wow. That's phenomenal.
Yep.
That is strength. You guys have such strength in what you're doing with that.
Oh, thank you. We love it. And it's again, like you have to love your job, right? You got to love who you work with.
For sure.
You got to get along with everybody. But when you're part of something bigger, I think that's people were talking about this great resignation, right? People leave bosses, let's be honest, right? And by the way, sometimes people leave for money, I get it, or career opportunities or whatever. But at the end of the day, if you build a culture where people like coming to work, I think, when they know you genuinely care about them, which we do, I think that makes a big difference.
It does. Do you guys measure employee engagement? Have y'all done any measurement on employee engagement?
So our SVP of HR does customer satisfaction type of stuff. So it's similar. It's not real. I don't think it's called engagement. I want to say winning culture surveys is what she coins it. And she goes out and sends confidential things to all of our employees a couple times a year to see where we can do better. So we do measure it. Like for an example, I could give you some funny ones. Like one of our contact centers, believe it or not, the ice machine was broke. We're like, really? Nobody told us this? We heard it in a survey, replaced it. Like, it's kind of funny, some of the things you see.
Yeah.
Which, so she does a really good job making sure that our culture is of always getting ideas and things that, I wouldn't even think of an ice machine in transparency. I wouldn't even think about that. We had one, it broke. No one knew it broke. And one agent told us it was broken. I mean, those are the things that you make the difference, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But she definitely measures a lot of that from the winning culture survey.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting. Y'all's culture at Etech is very similar to a culture. A friend of mine, Gary Ridge at WD-40, he's the CEO there. And he and I did a podcast several months ago, and he was talking to me about the WD-40 culture. And they call their team a tribe, which is really cool. And there's a lot behind that. But when he took over as CEO 20 plus years ago, the employee engagement rate at WD-40 was like in the 40 percentile level. It is now, I don't remember the exact numbers, but it's like in the mid 90s plus employee engagement. And
take a note and go listen to that podcast.
I'll send you a link to it.
Okay, good deal.
It is all about servant leadership. And his mentor, like Matt has been yours, his mentor was Ken Blanchard.
Oh, wow.
He and Ken are good friends. And Ken actually taught a master's of leadership course at University of San Diego. Gary actually now teaches that course. And he has done a great job at WD-40 of building that culture. He calls it the tribal culture. And it's all about servant leadership. So I'll send you a link to that. He and I had a great conversation, and he's doing some neat things at WD-40. Here's what's amazing though. The value of WD-40 went from 300 million with a 40% employee engagement rate to over 3.5 billion.
Wow.
With the 95% plus employee engagement rate. And he attributes all of that to culture. And you guys, what I'm telling you is I see the same thing in what you're doing. Etech is doing all of those things in terms of building culture. And Gary has a saying that happy employees go home to happy families that create happy communities that create a happy world. Yep. Very similar philosophies to what you guys are doing. So just kudos to what y'all are doing with your culture and leadership development and servant leadership culture, because you guys are doing the exact same thing.
That's awesome. You're gonna like talking to Matt, because like Matt, what he says, his words, not mine. He believes that the servant leadership culture sets the tone for how the business operates.
I totally agree. Absolutely.
I remember, you talk about challenges earlier. I'll give you a quick story because I'm a storyteller.
Yeah.
I remember back in my early career working for Matt, I went to a sales presentation with a client. It was like, you shall be nameless. But in our decks, we used to say, before we had the servant leadership culture and plastered everywhere, it's the early days when we were just trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
We used to have honor God in everything we do. And this potential customer took offense to it. He literally did not want to continue the conversation because we had that on a slide.
Wow.
Yeah, crazy world. And that was like probably one of the hardest. I'm like, I'm not in another country. I'm in America, right? First of all. But yeah, I mean, that was a tough one for me because it was like, and you know, I told Matt the story. We talked about it. And, you know, I think it even, you know, if you think about it, like we're all believers.
Yeah.
We're all very boisterous about it. And it just goes to show you that, you know, not everybody believes in the same things,
Right.
but, you know, right now you got to worry about offending anybody, but back then you never worried about things like that. I've never offended anybody by talking about God, my entire, except that one time.
Yeah. Wow. That's amazing.
Yeah. It's amazing.
And you told me something as we were preparing to go live here, the art of agreeing to disagree.
Yes.
and how important that is, and how unfortunately in our culture we've kind of lost that. You know, I think if we can train our country on anything right now,
oh yes,
we can all learn how to agree to disagree. See if Melissa can come up with something, push it out to the US on how to learn to agree to disagree.
we can give her that challenge. She would take it out.
I bet she'll nail it. I've got a feeling. No, that's interesting. Yeah, that's very interesting. So as we think about this next generation of leaders, you know, it sounds like you're a great mentor. I love what you do with your Mondays. That's really cool. I'm actually going to think about that personally on maybe a way to adopt that and some things that I do. But what advice would you give to someone that's maybe 20 to 25 years behind you? It's the Jim Iyoob that walked in Matt Rocco's office all those years ago. What advice would you have for that guy or that girl that's at that point in their career? They have no idea what's ahead of them. With you having the ability to look back, what advice would you have? That just one or two key things. What would you share with that person?
Yeah. So this is an easy one for me. So a couple things. Don't aim for perfection. Aim for excellence. Because I think so many people are trying to be perfect. And I have some people that work for me that are such perfectionists, it actually hurts them.
Yeah.
They don't want to make mistakes. Aim for excellence.
Yeah.
I believe wholeheartedly, and I preach this at the top of my lungs every week. Knowledge is power. Read at least one article a day. Right?
Yeah.
And the reason I say this is a lot of people read books. I like to read an article because I can read an article in about 3 minutes, 4 minutes. Yeah. So there's no excuse that I can't read and learn every day.
Yeah.
Another one I would say is you'll never know until you try. So I think a lot of people are afraid of failure. And I would say stop fearing failure because failures are lessons. And if you never fail, you'll never grow.
Yeah.
And last but not least, probably the biggest thing I would do, which I've learned, spend time with your people. Yeah. I believe being on the ground, not in the stands.
Yeah.
I want to work beside them and see and hear how they operate in this leadership world.
Yeah.
There's too many experienced leaders that are operating from the stands instead of the field.
That's a great
point. If you want to talk about the next generation, the answer is time. And as they would say, period. That's all it is.
Yeah. That's good stuff, Jim. That's really good, especially about getting out of the stands and on the field. That's really good.
And you got to have a balance because my boss always reminds me I'm too much in the weeds sometimes, but I like the weeds. I like the weeds.
You know what? Sometimes there's good stuff in the weeds.
Sometimes it's amazing the things you can find in those weeds.
That's right. That's right. All right. So Jim, I want you to picture yourself. You developed this next generation of leadership. It's your time where you can kind of ride off into the sunset and you're sitting on your rocking chair on the front porch. What do you want people to remember about Jim Iyoob?
So hopefully I'm in the game until my very last day. First of all, so we're all clear because I don't want to retire yet. I'm having too much fun.
Yeah.
But if I want people to remember me, I would hope it would be the values of serving, sharing the knowledge and the stories, and helping create a difference in their lives. That's what I would hope. I don't know that I'll get that, but that's what I would hope they would remember about me.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. Well, Jim, man, it has been so fun to visit. The time has gone by very quick, but it's been great to visit with you. Congrats on the success you've had in your journey, starting as a call center agent and moving up to the position you're in today with Etech. And congrats on the success Etech is having. And man, I truly admire what you guys are doing to develop leaders and really be intentional about growth and development of your people. That's awesome. More companies need to follow your model.
Don't be giving Melissa's name out to my competitors.
I won't. Don't worry. I'll keep it quiet. I am gonna see if you can let me. I'd love to do a podcast with her as well.
Absolutely, 100%.
We'll do a little Etech series here. You and Matt and Melissa.
That would be awesome.
Retail Talk podcast, but
we will definitely get you hooked up with them. Great. Thank you so much, Clint. It's been my blessing and a pleasure. God bless. Likewise. Have a great week and stay safe.
Likewise. And all right, that's a wrap. Hey, man, thanks so much. That was fun.
My pleasure. That was absolutely fun. I love it. That's great.
Good stuff. And I truly admire what y'all are doing, man. Y'all are doing good stuff. So I didn't get this in the podcast, but I will share with you, and I'll send you the link to that Gary Ridge podcast.
Good deal.
You talked about failure on one of your lessons to people that are coming up, in the younger ages. So they have a philosophy at WD-40. They don't use the word failure. Failure is not allowed. They call them learning moments.
Oh, nice.
And learning moments can come from something good or bad. It can be a good experience or bad experience, but they share learning moments. And they do not use the word failure. It's not allowed. So I thought that was really cool too. So I'm telling you, man, y'all's culture, very, very similar. And it's obvious with two great companies why the companies are so great.
Oh, we appreciate that. So I talked to Matt today, by the way. I told him I was doing my podcast today. He'll do one for you. How he operates, he said, if you send him kind of like what you sent me today, it was easy for me to, if you send him the questions you want to ask him, right? And then what I'll do is if you send those to me, I'll connect you directly with him with those questions.
Okay.
And then you can schedule a time with him. He just likes to see what you're going to ask first.
Sure. I understand
he wouldn't do it like me. Like I could do it in a couple hours and he can speak from his heart all day long, but he wants to see what you're asking him first. So, we can do that. And I will connect you directly with Melissa after this call.
Okay.
She's like me. You can give her the questions 5 minutes in advance and she's good to go.
Shoot from the hip.
She'll shoot from the hip because, Matt's he's the CEO. So it's a little different.
Yeah, I get it. No, that makes sense. So yes, I will, I'll shoot you some questions for him. And
I'll connect you with Melissa right after this. And once I get those, I'll connect you directly with Matt. And you could come to me to schedule it like you did with Lorraine for me.
Okay.
I'm his executive assistant. So I'll get you on his calendar.
Okay, buddy. That sounds good, man. Hey, great to visit with you. Would love to stay in touch.
Absolutely.
Congrats on everything you guys have going on. Very exciting.
Oh, thank you so much. We're doing a webinar February 16th. It's not really on servant leadership, but I'm doing one on data analytics.
Oh, okay, cool.
If you want to, I'll tell Lorraine to send you the invite.
Yeah.
It's 11 o'clock.
I'd love to listen in. So I didn't get a chance to tell you this. So my background is in retail. That's why it's called Creative Retail Talks. And we do some stuff with Walmart. I actually do some things with the Walmart call centers. Is Walmart one of your clients?
Now mine are like, I'm in the telco, I'm in retail, I'm in education, but not, we're lots of telco, but Walmart's not one of them. But that's why we have 3 divisions.
Yeah.
So we have the call center. That's what Kayleen Eccles, our COO, runs.
Yeah.
I have the analytics division, which is the insights. That's all the artificial intelligence, machine learning, agent behaviors. That's what I'm talking about next Wednesday, which I was in Walmart about 4 years ago.
Okay.
And the reason we didn't get it is they were looking at the time for 400 seats. at one spot.
Yeah.
And the way Etech has built our companies, we don't want to be a Sitel or Teleperformance where you have 17,000 seats.
Yeah.
Because we believe the bigger you get, the harder it is to keep that culture.
Yeah.
So all of our sites are roughly between 400 and 500 per location.
Yeah.
Right. So because we like to keep and they want to like, well, listen, you need to kick out not kicking out the other customers to give you one site. I could have done your 400 seats throughout all of our sites.
Yeah.
You know, like Verizon's one of our big customers. I have them in 7 of 9 sites.
Okay.
They get it.
Cool.
They understand. It's all about the people.
Right. For sure. For sure. Well, if I can ever help you connect with anyone in retail, let me know. Would love to help you with that.
Oh, absolutely.
So we work with Walmart. We do a lot in arts and crafts like Michael's, Hobby Lobby, Joann's, Dollar General, Five Below, some of those retailers. So
that's great. So I think we definitely have some synergies there. I think when you see the data that if you're able to, and if not, I'll send you a recording, by the way. But when you see the data we produce I have 2 of my clients on the phone with me, and they hired us. I'm not their call center.
Yeah.
I'm literally showing them how to fix their call center.
Wow.
That's what we do.
So I listened to the podcast you and Melissa did on the artificial intelligence.
Correct.
And man, the stuff that it sounds like you're able to do, like the instant coaching.
Yep.
That's amazing, man. That is absolutely amazing.
So the difference with the webinar on Wednesday is I'll have my VP of customer experience on.
Yeah.
And she'll actually be going through a case study with real data. And instead of just listening to it, you'll actually see the output.
Oh, that's very cool. That's very cool. Yeah, definitely have Lorraine send me an invite. I'd love to check that out if I can jump on. So
yeah, definitely. And if not, I'll send you. Once I give you on my list, you'll get the recording anyways. Yeah, I think she's sending out so here's what happened. I had it out on all my social media platforms, and I was using Webinar Jam. I don't know if you ever used that. So it's a decent platform. It's cute. It's a little primitive, but it's what I liked about it is you get to see everybody coming in, blah, blah, blah. Long story short, I didn't do any advertising. I just did it on my LinkedIn and Facebook.
Yeah.
244 people registered.
Wow.
Webinar Jam can't handle that many people. So I have to now send an email to all 244 people and tell them delete the link you have because now I had to move it to Zoom.
Yeah.
Because I can hold up to 500 on Zoom.
Yeah.
Webinar Jam was maxed out at like 200 or something.
Wow.
I really didn't because I didn't advertise it.
Great response. Sounds like that's awesome.
Yeah. And it was a little shocking. So now I'm hoping I don't destroy the customer experience by telling them, hey, delete the link you already have and replace it with this link. So what you'll get is a personal email from me.
Okay.
Versus one of these webinar things. It'll be coming from me personally, and it'll be a calendar invite because that's what I'm doing to everybody because I know what's going to happen because I've done it. You know, if you get 2 links, 3 links to the same link, you're always clicking around. What the hell one is it?
Right. For sure. For sure. Well, that sounds awesome, man. I'd love to check that out. So
we'll do
it.
If she doesn't send it tonight, it'll be going out tomorrow. She was working. Her and I talked before I got on with you because we got on the whole list, and I had to show her how to blind copy in Outlook. Because I said, no, don't put all these people's names out there because I don't want everybody to see each other. So I had to show her how to do that in a calendar invite. So she's like, well, I want to test it first. So she was testing today. She'll probably start sending them tomorrow morning.
Awesome.
But I'll add you on.
Yeah, man. Sounds good. I look forward to it. And great to visit with you. And we'll talk to you soon, man.
Absolutely, bud. Thank you. So if you ever come to San Antonio again, you let me know.
I will, dude. I definitely will.
Deal.
I hope you enjoyed our conversation on the Creative Retail Talks podcast today. Be sure to visit our show notes page for more information on today's show. And if you'd like to be a guest on the podcast, reach out to me at clint@creativeretailtalks.com. Creative Retail Talks is all one word. That email address will also be in the show notes. Hope you have a great day.